Hi. In this video, I will be showing you how to add a planet to our space scene in HitFilm. If you look here, I've added a light and a camera to our scene. So you don't have to worry about how these work because I've already added them. Let's go on and add a layer. Make it a plane. We're going to call this one Planet. You can go to this rectangle here beside color, click on that, and now you can choose a color for the planet. You can make it something greenish yellow. That looks good. Hit OK. Hit OK again, and there we go. We have a green plane. Now we need to add some texture to this plane. Let's go down to Effects, and I'm going to search for Clouds. Click on Clouds, and you can drag it over to the planet, or you can drag it up here, where you see the planet's properties have appeared under the control panel. So you can bring it down to Effects, drop it there, and now you see the clouds have been applied to our plane. However, you don't see the green. Now why is that? To understand why that is, let's go down into the cloud settings, go down to Appearance, and you see Blend Mode. Right now the blend mode is set to None. What that means is that the clouds are not being blended in with the layer that they are being applied to. So to go back to the analogy of the two pieces of glass with drawings on them, this would be like taking a picture of some clouds and then pasting it onto a piece of glass. What we want it to do is blend in with the layer that it's being applied to. So if you go down and select Normal, you see that the clouds are now being blended in with that layer, and you can see the green. If we go down to Add, what that means is that the colors of the clouds are being added to the colors of the layer, which gives a result that is brighter. If we do Subtract, that does the opposite. It subtracts the colors of the clouds from the colors of the layer, giving a result that's darker. We'll go with that. Let's go up to Cloud Brightness, and I'm going to reduce this in order to have a more subtle effect. There we go. Now we need to make this look like a sphere. So go down to Effects, and I'm going to search for Sphere. And what this effect does is it warps the layer and makes it look like a sphere. Now it's an illusion because it's not actually a sphere. It's simply warping it to look like one. And this is important. So let's take this, drag it down here, and put it below clouds. We're putting it below the clouds because we want the sphere effect to warp the clouds as well as the layer. So you see here, everything is warped into a sphere. Now, if we were to put the sphere effect above the clouds, what happens is the sphere effect warps the layer, but then the clouds are pasted on top of it. And because this is not an actual sphere, because it's just a two-dimensional surface that is made to look like a sphere, when you paste the clouds on top of it, they look flat. And so you want the sphere to be below the clouds so that the clouds are being warped as well, like that. Now let's add some light to our sphere. So go down to the settings here, scroll down, go to Illumination, and right now Illumination is None. If we click on this, we can select Comp Lights. And what that does is that uses whatever lights that are added to this scene to light the sphere. We'll just use Comp Lights, and remember that I've already added the lights in, so we don't have to worry about how those work. Now we can go down, and we need to add a little more texture to this. So under Effects, we'll go to Parallax. And what the Parallax effect does is it takes the color of a layer and it adds depth to that layer based on the layer's coloring. So I'll select this. I'm going to put it between clouds and sphere. And what you see is that that adds texture to the planet. It adds depth to it. We put it between the clouds and the sphere because we want it to use the coloring of the cloud in order to add depth to the planet, and then we want that depth to be warped around into a sphere. You see, if you put the parallax effect below the sphere, what happens is it uses the coloring of the lighting of the sphere in order to add depth to it. Because remember, this is not a real sphere. It's just a two-dimensional surface that looks like a sphere. If you were to take the parallax effect and add it above the clouds, then it gets applied to the green plane. And of course, there's no texture on the green plane. And so there's nothing to add depth to it. So we have to put the parallax effect between the clouds and the sphere. It's got to be below the clouds so that there's something it can add depth to. And it has to be above the sphere so that the sphere effect warps the parallax effect into a circle. So once we do that, we now have our planet. Thank you for watching this tutorial.